All right, Mr. John Franklin. I'm here as trying to have an idea of any suggestions we can have from you as an expert, I would say, in these museum issues. And in Senegal, we are trying to put together a museum for Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, and we would need to have just an insight of someone who's so into the museum institutions as the Smithsonian Institution as you are. And we want to know any recommendation you would just put forth as far as which way to look into that museum project for Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba in Senegal, in Diourbel. So what are your insights? What do you think as first steps in terms of how to go about it that you think might be very useful getting into this in line with the project?
Okay. The first thing you need to do is to create a timeline of Bamba's life, the influences on his life, the different places he lives, and the different places he has an impact on. Because when he leaves Senegal and goes to Gabon and back, he makes converts all along the way who continue to be part of the Mouride community. So the timeline is first. Then you need to make an inventory of all of the things that you have about him. And then an inventory of things that you know that you do not have, that other people or other institutions have that you may be able to borrow.
Yes.
Remember that when you're doing a museum, you don't show everything that you have. You have to rotate things, and you have to show some textiles, for example, which are delicate, you can only show for 3 months or 6 months, and then you must replace them. So if you have clothing of Bamba's, you can't leave it out for a year.
Yeah.
You have to have something for 3 months and then something else for 3 months. So your cases have to be able to open and close so that you can change the artifact.
Makes sense.
So you have the timeline and the inventory, and then a wish list of things that you would like to have but you do not have. There may be French official documents, for example, when Bamba is exiled. There may be documents in the French colonial record.
That's true.
That you may not be able to have, but you may need to make a facsimile or a copy of those because they had an impact on Bamba.
Absolutely. I agree.
He's part of the newspaper age, so there must be newspaper articles about him, both in France and in different parts of Africa.
Yep.
I would suggest that you approach this as a history museum and a culture museum, because there's a culture around Bamba. All of the paintings that are done of him, the way he's represented on the outside of buses and car rapide.
Absolutely.
So you need to photograph how he's part of Senegalese society. And then there must be music inspired by Bamba.
Absolutely.
There's songs inspired by Bamba.
Yep.
There's probably poetry inspired by Bamba.
That's true.
So think of all the different kind of cultural expressions of the past and of the present, and leave yourself the opportunity that Bamba is going to continue to have an influence in the future. So your story is not over, even though he's not living. The story continues. Like this museum, the story's not over.
That's true.
So we have to continue to collect, continue to interview.
That's right.
Now he has an influence not only on Mourides, but on Senegalese society beyond Mourides, beyond the Muslim community.
Absolutely, that's true.
And so he becomes a historical figure. So that I explained when we were in Paris, at Versailles, there were Mourides selling things.
Wow.
And the Americans wouldn't know who Mourides are. And I had to explain to them in Paris that these are Senegalese men from one sect within Islam within Senegal.
Wow. You got to say all of that story.
But I had to tell the Americans who these men are, and that they live together. They're not working for themselves, they're working for the Mouride community. And that the money is going to the Mouride community. It's not for them to go and buy things. It's for their community.
That's true. Very good.
So I think you have to explain Bamba in the context of Mouridism, which is a financial system, it's a land system. I think you need to look at Touba as his birthplace, but then what Touba came to represent within Senegal in the 60s and 70s compared to Touba now.
That's true. Very much, yeah.
You need to film the Magal and interview people who are coming from the United States, people who are coming from Europe, people coming from other parts of Africa.
That's right.
To the Magal. Why are they coming? Do they come every year, or do they come on the years that they can afford to come?
That's right.
And involve young people in this entire process, because I knew you when you were younger.
Yeah.
But now there are people younger than you.
Absolutely.
And we need to involve them in this project, because when you retire and I retire, we need young people who are as knowledgeable as you are about this museum, who could continue the work afterwards.
Absolutely.
So those are my initial thoughts.
Yep.
The next time we meet, I'll add you some more.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it. And you've been in Senegal too, so you speak all of it.
Lip, no.